Hi everyone, my name is Dimitri and welcome back to DimitriTube. Today we're going to finish talking about Lauren and Dave from season 8 of Love is Blind. If you have not seen my first video on that, I'm going to go ahead and link it above somewhere over here and check that out because it's basically just a continuation of that one. Okay, let's dive in and get started. And first and foremost, I need to applaud Lauren and Dave. We have to give them applause. Lauren and Dave are the only couple that gave us a storyline outside of the pods. Like literally, Lauren and Dave were 80% of the storyline, at least. Lauren and Dave was the only couple that gave us legitimate drama, and their storyline made sense from start to finish. A lot of the couples went to the weddings and broke up, and the reasons they broke up, us as an audience had no idea that was even going on. At least with Lauren and Dave, we knew what was going on from start to finish. Because let me tell y'all, I was very much surprised that Taylor and Daniel got married, but Monica and Joey didn't. Joey and Monica were the only couple that seemed to be meant for each other. Taylor and Daniel got better as the season progressed, but I was not expecting them to get married. Anyways, so going back to Lauren and Dave, I'm not sure what episode this happened, but Lauren was supposed to meet Dave's friends, and Dave ended up canceling it last minute, even though Lauren made it clear that she wanted to meet his friends and she wanted to try to make this work. Overall, that was very sus behavior on Dave's part. So I understand if Dave does not want her to meet his family, like that makes sense, but making sure she doesn't meet his friends either, that's very sus. In my opinion, meeting someone's friends is just very low stakes, and often meeting someone's family can be too, but meeting someone's friends, like, to me, that's like going out for tacos and you're just like, oh yeah, my girlfriend's coming along. Like, that really shouldn't have been a big deal, but it was very clear Dave was hiding something when he told his friends to cancel. Next, if you made it this far in the video, please go ahead and pound that like button for the YouTube algorithm. And then on episode 9, Lauren admits to having a bud before she came onto the pods. We later find out it was about a week or two before she came on the pods, and Dave ends up finding this out basically through the Minnesota grapevine. Apparently Dave's friends told him about it, and also his sister knew. Like, a lot of people in his circles were talking about this. And to make things even worse, this guy is still texting Lauren, and he lives in the building that Lauren and Dave just moved into. Let's unpack this. First of all, if they were in a bigger city, I guarantee you this would not have been a problem. This season of Love is Blind is very unique because the dating pool in Minneapolis and St. Paul is just entirely too small, and very much everyone knows everyone. And not only just in the dating scene, a lot of the contestants had mutuals. 2 of the contestants found out they went to the same high school. Like, in general, it's just a very small community. If the contestants were in a bigger city like New York, Chicago, LA, even DC, yes, this could happen, but the likelihood just would have been too small. Your new fiance is a friend of your F-bud, and his friends know him, and on top of that, he's living in the same building that you two moved into. Again, this could happen in a major city, but just the likelihood is just so small. Next, Dave could not get past the fact that Lauren had an F-bud so close to right before she came on the pods. Now, Dave said that was the problem, but I don't think that was the real issue. The real issue is that she smashed a homie. The bigger issue is that Lauren smashed a friend of a friend, and now all of his friends know about it, and even his sister knows about it. And Dave just cannot see himself going to a wedding, getting on that stage, and getting married, and her F-bud is like at that wedding, and he's just embarrassed. Like, that's honestly the real issue. And this is just my opinion. It's gonna sound a little misogynistic, but whatever. A lot of guys are not gonna marry someone that they know their friends have been with. It's a guy thing. I don't know what else to say. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It just is. Next. Now, this is something that's actually gonna be in defense of Dave. So during Honduras, Dave and Lauren never got physical, and Dave admitted that, and I think maybe even Lauren had mentioned it in the confessional or something. Dave says they haven't gotten there because Lauren does not feel comfortable yet. They just haven't got there, whatever. But from what we saw of Dave and Molly in the pods, it was very clear that sex was very important to Dave. And like, you could tell if they didn't do that, it was going to be a problem for Dave. So then fast forward to the argument Lauren and Dave Dave are having, Lauren says, oh, he was an F-bud. It meant nothing. We didn't date or meet each other's friends, etc. They just slept together. She may have not said that exactly, but in but so many words, that's what she said. So it is just very weird that Lauren is like, I had this F-bud. It didn't mean anything. We never dated, da-da-da-da. But then she goes through this process in the pods. She falls in love with this guy, gets engaged to this guy, and now she's like, I'm not comfortable sleeping with you. We haven't reached that level of comfort yet. She's not ready yet, whatever. And again, Lauren is a grown woman. She can do what she wants, her body, her choice. But it is very weird that she's engaged and in love with this man and she does not feel comfortable sleeping with him. But then a few short weeks ago, she had an F-bud. It meant nothing. They never even dated and she was comfortable sleeping with him. That is weird. And I'm pretty sure that added to why Dave and Lauren were constantly arguing. And I think it would be reasonable for Dave to be jealous of her F-bud for kind of getting more privileges than he got as the fiance. So they were arguing a lot in episode 9. Then fast forward to episode 10, Dave doesn't sleep in the apartment overnight and he doesn't come back till like the next day in the afternoon. And not only that, he's dodging Lauren's text messages. So two things just become apparently clear. Dave is not trying to make this relationship work. And not only that, like I said in my previous video, this man is a terrible communicator. And now he's making it even more clear he's a bad communicator. And in this moment, we get a confessional with Lauren and she's crying and she tells the camera that she still wants to try to make this work. And at this point, Lauren just looks straight up delusional. And I applaud Lauren for trying to make the relationship work, but it's very clear Dave has no interest in trying to make the relationship work. And as y'all know, I'm not a big fan of Lauren, but after watching how Dave treated her, I was like, damn, she doesn't deserve all of this. And not only that, we're at episode 10 and Lauren has yet to meet any of Dave's friends or family. Like, it's very clear this relationship is not gonna work out. Then fast forward to the end of episode 10, the beginning of episode 11, Dave and Lauren break up in this theater and it's pretty dramatic. And at the end of the day, they broke up because Dave just did not trust her. But there are two major points that I wanna point out in this. First, Dave and Lauren's dad did not get along, and that was a major issue because family is important to both of them. While Lauren and Dave were arguing in the theater, Dave says, your dad came for me because I was going into this like, let me see what happens. And it was wild to me that Dave even said that because on episode 10, he admitted that he went on this show and was just like, let me see what happens. So is Dave just mad because Lauren's dad is calling out what he's doing? And then at one point, Lauren responds that her dad was like, I thought she was ready for a relationship. And Dave claps back, she's not. And that is so messy. Like, why are you talking to Lauren's dad like that? That's crazy. In my opinion, that was just a huge nail in the coffin. Dave, you're telling your fiance's father she's not ready to get married. And not only that, you're arguing with her father probably on the first time y'all met. I'm kind of blown we didn't get to see it on camera when they met. But due to the fact that family is so important for Lauren and Dave, the fact that Dave did not get along with her father, like, that had to have been a nail in the coffin. And then we also find out Lauren's dad came for Dave because his family did not want to be on the show and had no interest in meeting Lauren. And Lauren dives deeper into this and we find out Dave was just not forthcoming about the process. Dave's family had no idea that he was engaged. They did not know this process ends in a wedding. And it's clear Dave just told on himself, if family is so important to you, why are you not being fully forthcoming regarding this process and what actually happens to your family? Like, Dave admitted his dad had no idea he was engaged. And in general, Dave was just not ready to meet someone and possibly get engaged and then married this quickly. And that's fine. If you're not ready for that, that's fine. Just date in the real world. Don't come on this show. So then fast forward to later in episode 11, I think Dave and Lauren are still arguing about the guy that she hooked up with. And it's just like, can we please move on? As an audience, that was just so exhausting to hear. Like, come on, either move on from this or just break up. Because us as an audience, we're just tired of hearing about it. After that, we go to the Pod Squad meetup. And I think Molly tells this to Lauren. Apparently, Dave was found at a bar with another woman. And at that point, that information was just so unnecessary and so irrelevant. Like, it was clear Lauren and Dave weren't going to work out anyway. So extra information to make him look bad really did nothing, in my opinion. But one thing Molly did point out during her one-on-one with Lauren is the fact that, yes, Lauren had an F-bud shortly before coming on the pods, but like, was Dave celibate a year before coming on the pods? And based on his personality, he probably wasn't. And to me, that more so proves my theory that Dave was just more upset that she smashed a homie. After that, Molly and Dave have a one-on-one, and Molly is trying to get to the bottom of what's the holdup with Dave. And Molly says, "What's the issue meeting the family and friends?" And Dave responds back, "You just don't understand, you just won't get it." And Molly gives him multiple chances to explain, but he's basically like, "You just won't get it." And then Molly asks, "You don't feel like you were pushing her away from the relationship?" And Dave responds with an immediate no. Dave argues that his family thought it was wild that he was engaged after 2 weeks. And it's like, well, if that was an issue, why did you even come on the show? And this is just my opinion. Dave keeps blaming his family and his sister for like why he cannot move forward. But if you remember in the pods, Dave's mom passed away like 6 years ago. And to me, it just seems like almost like his sister has stepped in place for his mom. Like, it's unfortunate. His mom is no longer with us. And I think Dave really wanted the approval of his mother, but his mother's no longer with us. So I think his sister has kind of like taken on that role. And the fact that his sister refuses to even meet her is just a huge red flag for him. And because of that, he doesn't even want to move forward. And then Molly claps back like, "Why are you not fighting for her? Is she not worth fighting for?" And it becomes pretty evident that Dave probably thinks Lauren is just not worth fighting for. But again, we never get true full answers from Dave, so we'll never really know. And then later on, Dave has another one-on-one conversation with Lauren, and it just becomes very clear Dave does not want to make this work, and he does not care to try to make this relationship work. Then fast forward to the reunion, it is prophecy fulfilled. Dave's sister did not want him to come on this show because she was worried that the show would make Dave look bad, and lo and behold, the show made him look terrible. And don't get me wrong, a lot of Dave looking bad was his own doing, but it's also prophecy fulfilled. Like, his sister was worried about that, and it actually happened. Next, now this is just a general critique about all Love is Blind reunions and why I don't really care for them. So all of the contestants tend to like get together 2 or 3 weeks before the reunion to get their story straight, and then they go on the reunion. And not only that, the reunion is like a year later after all of this happened. So I'm sure for a lot of them, the specific details are a little fuzzy. And Lauren specifically said she met up with Dave 2 or 3 weeks before. So I take everything they say with a grain of salt. And overall, it's just annoying because like, why don't y'all just tell the truth? Like, why do we have to get our story straight off camera? Like, y'all could just tell the truth. That's very much an option. So then at the reunion, Dave apologizes to Lauren, and he admits that he was not ready for the process and did not take it as seriously as she should. And he also says he still has feelings for Lauren and he thinks about her, but Lauren claps back. If that was the case, why didn't you like reach out? But you can have feelings for someone and not reach out to them. And this is just my opinion. I think Dave wanted to be married. He wants a family. He wants to have kids, all of that. And he did see that happening with Lauren. But now that we're at the reunion and things did not work out between them, he's just trying to do as much damage control as possible and minimize the backlash from fans. And last thing to wrap up, so the F-bud that Lauren had, Dave admits that that guy latched on to him, to his friends and family, and I guess tried to like jeopardize the relationship purposely, which I do think is true. But at the same time, I do think Dave could have tried to make the relationship work more than he did. And even if that guy didn't latch on as hard as he did, I still think it would have come out that Dave was just not serious about getting married and he was not serious about this process. And that's all I got for this video. Let me know below in the comments what you think of Lauren and Dave. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and pound that like button, pound that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell. And I will see you all next time. Have a good one. Bye.